Welcome to Emerge and Empower Podcast TV, a platform where resilience meets transformation. Here, we amplify voices that have faced trials, trauma, and adversity, stories that inspire hope, healing, and empowerment. Every episode brings raw, unfiltered conversations with individuals who have risen from hardship, embracing faith, strength, and purpose. Join us as we break the silence, uplift one another, and emerge stronger together. New episodes air Wednesdays at 6 p.m. English and Saturdays at 6 p.m. with select Saturdays in Creole for our Haitian audience.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome back to Emerge and Empower, and I am so excited. Aren't you? You should be, because today and all the other sessions to come, we are women and individuals, men of course, who are saying, I am no longer apologizing for who I am today. I'm not apologizing because I love pink. I'm not apologizing because I'm brave. I'm not apologizing because I'm smiling. I'm not apologizing because I choose to live, all right? We're not apologizing because of the places and the things that we have once experienced in our life. And no, yes, you are entitled to smile. You are entitled to be the person that you are today. And guess what? There is no need to apologize for that because you have gone through it all. Is that you today? Well, this is an opportunity for you to connect to Emerge and Empower as we have these summer sessions called Unapologetically You. No, you're not apologizing for being the individual that you are today because you have gone through so much pain and so much trauma. And yes, you have earned it. All right, you have earned that right to say, I am who I am, and I am not apologizing for that today. I'm no longer hiding behind the things of the past. I'm no longer letting a narcissistic person hold me back. I'm no longer letting family, environment, whatever it is, hold me back because now I am on the front row seat of my life. And this is what these summer sessions are about. Yes, it's still Emerge and Empower. Yes, these are still individuals who have come away from pains, one's traumas, griefs, all right? Still living through it day by day. But guess what? We're deciding to do better with our life. We're deciding to no longer stay in the victim mentality present in our minds, okay? To be free and unapologetically so. So on today, I have guests that will be coming on here today, and they will be sharing today. Guess what? I'm not apologizing. I'm happy to be the woman that I am today. Stay tuned. You need to go pull up a seat. Listen, don't leave. Go get a chair, get your girlfriend, share this, share. Subscribe, because when I tell you these summer sessions are going to be ecstatic, bright, lively, unapologetically happy, and humorous. No longer tears. So stay tuned as our guests will be coming on.
Before the wine, there were wounds. Wounds don't just come from the world. Sometimes they come from the places we thought were safe. She walked away, not in rebellion, but in reverence. This is not a story of perfection, but of process. Even when I felt unholy, God was still calling me back to the table. 𝘱House Publishing presents Unholy at the Table. Unworthy, uninvited, and yet called by Dr. Linda Joseph. Order your copy now. Amazon Kindle, wherever books are sold.
And welcome, everyone. I would like for you all to just get excited for my two guests today. We have Amy and Elisa today. Let's just start. Woo! Welcome. Yes, we are here and we are not apologizing for who we are today. Ladies, before I even get into the questions, before we even flow into conversation, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience on today?
Sure. I'll start. I'm Amy McKiernan. I am an author of the book More Than a Survivor, 8 Keys to Overcoming Sexual Assault and Finding a Path to Living a Fulfilled Life. And I'm also a keynote speaker, and I work with Campus Outreach Services and Take Back the Night for educational services as well for universities and organizations. I'm a mom of two, and I work for private schools as a director of employee relations, and I'm just so unapologetically happy to be here.
I love it, love it, love it.
Awesome. I'm 𝘠𝘯𝘕, and I am the author of soon-to-be-published Stop the Mobbing, which I'll explain. But I'm also a former Global Chief Marketing Officer and proactive double mastectomy survivor and mother of 4, and still not apologizing. And I'm super excited to meet both of you. And Amy, go you! That's awesome. I love to, yeah.
This is great. Listen, when this session came about, and I'm like, I need something for the summer, and the word that came to me was be unapologetically you. I don't know if you were ever in my shoes where I felt I had to apologize for everything or explain what I was doing just so that someone will understand or accept me for who I am or what it was I was trying to portray or share. Okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I apologizing? Why do I feel that I have to do this each time? And I realize, you know what? I'm going to take this back. I'm going to take this power back. All right. And no, I'm not going to apologize because I'm happy and I'm smiling. No, I'm not going to apologize because, like today, I'm wearing pink on a pink chair. No, I'm not apologizing because, well, that's not usually how it's done. That's okay. This is what I want. Right? And so this is basically where we are. So any of you ever found yourself in a place where you was always apologizing?
Oh yeah. I think as women, we tend to do that just like innately. And I think that our experiences, no matter what they are, like can kind of drive the ship sometimes to where we're always apologizing. And with my past experiences, I lived this life stuck. You mentioned victimhood before, like stuck in this victimhood and stuck in this like shame and self-blame for a lot of the things that happened to me for a really long time. And I think that played into the role of this always kind of like tiptoeing through life and apologizing for things that really weren't my fault at all. And the self-blame of some really tragic events. And that, kind of steered the ship for me for a long time. So I can completely relate to that.
That's true. It's like the navigating through life, walking on eggshells, and then you realize, wait a minute, I didn't create this. This isn't mine. And I no longer want to be in this place. What about you, Alicia?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you're right, Amy. As women, we tend to just live in that place. I remember, being in a boardroom, and we had, as all the leadership team, and I was, a global chief marketing officer, just like all the men in the room. But yet I was the only one that was asked to go see if we could get espressos for everybody. And you know what? I did it. And so I don't know that I would do it today, but I did it then. And so, and this isn't about men, women, and a complaint.
Exactly.
But I do think that, I think you're right. As women, we tend to play small, and the project, that I'm working on is really just about, I was made to feel crazy. My daughter was made to feel crazy because there wasn't a name for what we were experiencing. It was
Right.
a severe form of bullying. It's called mobbing, but guess what? Because nobody knew what it was, it was, oh, just, rise above it and, whatever. And so this whole movement, which is why I'm so excited to be here with both of you, is exactly what you're saying, Dr. Linda. It's just saying, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for naming what everybody did.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's time to get ahead of that. So we're going to go right in here. And today, right, respond to this and think about it, right? Think about it to say, I am unapologetically, and complete the sentence. It could be a paragraph, but what does it mean to you when you say, I am unapologetically? Complete it for me.
Sure. So today I am unapologetically whole again, and stronger and more confident and vibrant than ever before.
Great.
I today am unapologetically passionate about changing the world and stopping mobbing so that no one else has to experience it.
Very well. And I can say today, I am unapologetically being who God created me to be. I am a polymath. I can do so many things, and I should not have to apologize to, really? You can do that? Yes, I can. Woo, let's celebrate that.
Woo! Excellent. I love that.
That's great.
That is just beautiful. And so we're going to go into the next one. What part of yourself will you never apologize for again?
So I think I loved this question. And I think that the part of me that I won't ever apologize for again is the me who is committed to living a healthy and present life. And it's the me who takes on life's storms, the me that views those life's storms as chapters and phases and phases that we are able and worthy of overcoming. And I won't apologize for that anymore. It's a different, I'm realizing that it's a different outlook than a lot of people have.
Right.
But I won't apologize for this overcomer's approach that I tackle life with, every aspect of life with. And I'm proud of it. I find strength in it, and it's who I am. And with that also comes like parts of just being healthy and being present and not being, not getting sucked into, numbing certain things when things get hard. And I won't apologize for that either, because I find strength in that as well.
So, Amy, as you said that, for someone who hearing you say, I'm not apologizing for where I once was, can you kind of shadow those who've never seen your episode to understand what that was and why you're not apologizing for that period of your life today?
Absolutely. I am an overcomer of sexual assault, including 2 rapes. And I lived life a long time feeling the shame and the self-blame from those experiences. And I lived life for a long time, numbing my pain and becoming smaller and living this life of unworthiness and really identifying with, this is who I am for the world. And this is just what happens to me.
Right.
Because that's what my journey was showing me. And I just accepted. It's almost like I accepted it and became comfortable with it.
Right.
And it was a really painful life. And it took me a really long time to get past that and take the reins in my own life again and realize that I am worthy and I am someone who can take control of my choices again. Yes. And I am someone who can heal and not just survive these things. And that's what my book's about. It's called More Than a Survivor, because we all we've all survived things, and there's so much power in that. But there's more to it. There's more than just surviving. I am a believer of overcoming. You know, and overcoming something, I mean, that changes your entire relationship with your trauma. And so it took me a long time to get here, and I'm still growing. I'm still healing. I'm still learning, but I feel so confident in this place. And it's who I am now. It's like, it's my approach to every aspect of life is like, oh, we can overcome this. Okay. We just have to learn. We just have to figure this out and take it one step at a time and make small choices, but we can overcome this. And it makes people uncomfortable sometimes. You know, it really does. And
you don't have to apologize for that.
I won't. And it also gives people a lot of hope and strength too. So that's who I am for the world today. Right. I used to be this thing I felt like I used to be this thing that was just used and abused and tossed aside. And now I am this presence that gives hope, healing, and strength to others. And I will never apologize for that. And I will embrace it fully.
Wow. That is really amazing. So the reason why I said that, because when we say we're no longer apologizing for something, sometimes people don't have a backstory. And when they heard what you just said here, they're like, go for it, you go, girl. And someone else is probably sitting there like, you know what? I need to get away from this thing, because I've been in this place for such a long time. And I too, like Amy, want to get my life back. Let's go over to you, Alicia.
Wow, that is a tough act to follow. Amy, you are great. You are so good.
Awesome.
I'm so proud of you, and I don't even hardly know you. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So I think going back to the question is, what am I not going to apologize for? And I think, you know, different. Obviously, I have very different story than you do, Amy. But you know, in a way, it's a bit similar. I am not going to apologize for being someone who loves hard, who feels hard, who isn't afraid to cry at times, and is sensitive. And, you know, sometimes the world, especially the corporate world, just life, right? You know, people don't get that. And so I don't feel like I should be apologizing for that anymore. I think it's okay to feel deeply. And it's okay to feel deeply when people aren't kind. And I mean, you know, that's the movement that I'm on. And is just, you know, we don't all have to be best friends. As I say, I'm not trying to raise, you know, what they call soft children or, you know, or be soft. But at the end of the day, you know, there's such a blurriness between being soft and saying, you know what, stop being mean. And so, you know, whether it be kind of, you know, feeling small, like, you know, coming in when I was told that, oh, she's just being dramatic with the double mastectomy. Like, what? Like, that's not okay. So I'm not going to apologize for that.
You overcame that. You experienced that. That was your scars. So when someone just tried to make what you experience small or make it seem insignificant, like, whatever. No, you experience that, okay? And so someone shouldn't have to tell you how to feel. Someone shouldn't have to tell you how to rejoice from that, because many don't even have the opportunity to survive.
Oh, 100%. But I'll give you one better though. Someone doesn't need to weaponize my emotions.
That's it.
As part of their toxic group dynamic to undercut me. Like that's not okay anymore.
No,
it's mean. It's mean. So so that's what I'm not going to apologize for.
Oh my, let's go. Come on.
Let's go, girls.
And can I just say, Alicia, I just want to say, like, there's so much power in, I don't know your full story, but like, I'm, you know, getting the pieces that you're giving us right now. And like, it's really, really powerful. And I think accountability, right? Like, that's what you're making me think of is like, it is okay to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And it's so lost, I think, sometimes where you get labeled if you try to hold somebody accountable.
Yes.
And so, you know what? I love everything you said, because accountability for ourselves and for the others. And it's all okay. And accountability should be there. It's a really important piece. So I just wanted to say that I loved everything.
Well, I just love it.
You get it too. I mean, that's the whole part of my movement and story. So the fact that you just got it that quickly is fuel. So I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ooh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to go here to the next question, right? What did life try to silence that you are now allowing to speak? Talk, girl, talk.
Okay. So I had to really think about this, and I think I could probably talk about this in a lot of different ways, but the one piece that I chose for today is life tried to silence my confidence and my value. And today, I am a very confident, worthy human. And I know that about myself.
Yes.
And I'm a leader now. I'm a leader in so many aspects of my life, and it's comfortable for me. But yeah, I mean, life tried to silence that, and I allowed it to for a long time. But I finally got that power back. Yes. And now I am a confident, worthy human who has something really, really special to share with the world.
Yes.
And I will just never allow that to be silenced again.
Indeed. Indeed. We'll go over to you, Alicia.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the whole movement that I'm on is just, we're not going to be silenced anymore. I mean, I think that's what this is about. So just to give some context, there is a form of bullying that exists, but because it doesn't have a name, it has zero accountability, to your point, Amy. There's zero consequences for it. So similar, I say this in the book, similar to how, many years ago when I started in corporate America, there wasn't a name for sexual harassment, but it existed. And then one day somebody put a name to it. And then now we all take classes once a year for our jobs. And there's consequences to those who kind of go out of bounds, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing somewhat for bullying, but what's happening today and what silenced me and what has silenced so many others, I've interviewed so many people, is this form of bullying that's called mobbing. I didn't invent that word. An anthropologist in the 60s invented it, but nobody knows what it is. And what it is basically where there's a group dynamic that decides, that you're the target. Right. And so we're just going to make sure that we completely isolate you at work, on a sports team, at school. You might think of it as mean girl behavior, but it's farther than that, right? Because at work and at school and on a sports team, you can't leave. So if someone's trying to isolate you because your star is shining too bright or whatever, and so now they might just not include you in meetings that you should be involved in, or different things to set you up. And so HR departments and school guidance counselors, they don't have a playbook for this. That's what I've written. And so there's no playbook to say that's mobbing, but when you name it, we can talk about all the examples. I don't want to take up too much time here, but the point is, when you name it and you have the examples for it, it is so easy to spot. And that's true. I lived silenced by that, just to kind of close it out with your question, because there wasn't a name to it, and so many people have. And so I'm naming it so I can't be silenced, and nobody else has to be silenced. And then hopefully we'll be writing consequences, so that schools and offices and academic teams have a playbook to say, you know what, that's not okay. And best of all, just to end this, the biggest pain that comes from this are the people who are complicit with that isolation because they don't even know it's happening. And I think that is where I felt probably the most silenced, is when people are complicit because they're afraid of they don't want to be you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's, we're just talking.
I like that you've named it mobbing, and I believe we all have experienced that in one way or the other. I am local here, as you are, Alicia, as you said, and for one, being a woman, I am also a pastor. But for 17 years, because I'm of the Haitian community, where a female pastor is like, what is that? The Bible doesn't say that there is a pastor. So I did not wear that title. I was just my husband's cheerleader, supporter, whatnot, even though we both ordained together, even though we went to seminary together, but I could not walk under that title. So in 2017, I found a group of women that proudly walked under that title and made me feel welcome in the African American community. And as a result, that's when people start calling me Pastor Linda. So those who knew me for all those previous years are like, when did that happen? But the
Wow.
truth is, I've always been that, right? I've just never worn it. And then I have two doctorates, right? I have one for pastoral psychology, and then I have one for ministry. And I refuse to walk under that either because, wait, they had a hard time dealing with me being Pastor Linda, right? And now you're saying you have to doc. I say, no, it's not an honorary doctorate. I went to school. I put in the time for this, but I allowed, okay, the same mobbing situation to shut me down. So I didn't speak. Then I dealt with it in areas where I was skipped, like, no, we're not choosing her, we'll pick somebody else. Right. And so I didn't realize that it was called mobbing. Right. Just like if before sexual harassment had a name, we didn't know what to call it. So many other things that didn't have a name, we didn't know what to call it. So as you said that, I'm realizing, yes, I don't even need to see your playbook, but just by the description, all right,
Yeah.
of some of the things that you said, I realized in life, we've gone through this probably from preschool, middle school, primary school, high school, in life, the mean girl, like you said, mentality. I believe the stage is big enough for everyone. But yet there are those who don't think so. And they'll do whatever it is to make sure that you're not noticed, you're skipped, right? You're not called upon, right? So I got into a season, okay, you're skipping me, but you're calling on someone else that I trained, right? They can be on your flyer. And so the Holy Spirit said to me, I'm Christian, so that's why I use a lot of words in that way.
Mine
Well,
too.
you can create your own. So guess what? I have WeWo, which is a women's organization. I started inviting women to come onto the platform to let them know this is a platform that you can be yourself. So once I start creating my own flyers, my platform, guess what? Now you're deciding, oh, can you be on here? Can you do this? But yet before, you were skipping me. You were ignoring me. You did not see me, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm still in this place today. Like, if you call me, fine. If you don't, it doesn't remove anything from me. And I'm not apologizing for what I'm doing. But yet I found that you're copying some of the things that I'm doing. And I'm okay. Well, you found content. But remember where you got that from. So these are the things that I said we have to no longer apologize for. This is who I am. This is what I can do. Whether you like it or not, I'm an unapologetically me. I'm unapologetically Linda today, right? And no, I'm not competing against Amy or Alicia or any other woman because I can stand on my own. And the platform is big enough, and I'll say, scoot over, come on over. We have room. We can do this and not apologize for being who you are. Right? So before we go to the next question, I know I said a lot. Is there anything else we might want to talk about that possibly they didn't want you to speak about, but today you were like, you know what, this is who I am, right? Because we're just flowing conversation.
I think, I mean, a lot came up for me while you both just talking because, I think that a lot of people who can relate to what you're saying in general. And then with my experiences and anyone who's experienced trauma, if that trauma especially like a sexual assault or a rape,
Right.
becomes known, right? So some people carry it inside and they don't say a word and nobody knows about it. And then there's others that go through the experience, which I have a little bit of both, where people do find out, people do know. And like, for example, everything, it went through my whole high school and it became my identity.
Wow.
And like that experience of the judgment and the decisions that are made about you,
Right.
you know, and when you attach a trauma to that, it can be so hard to get out of that mindset and to accept those judgments as truth, you know, and that experience of like, everyone's got an opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
and, you know, they think their opinion is true and they have made up their mind about you. And not everyone was on my side, which we talked about, you know, at my last episode, where adults were not on my side.
Yeah.
Kids who I didn't even know were, you know, and it spread like wildfire. And this was back before social media. Thank God, to be honest. But it still spread like wildfire and it became so encompassing. And I just think that it's so powerful what you're doing, Alicia, because there is so much power in groups, you know, and I think that it can really change so much for a person.
Yes.
And it's so dangerous, you know? And so like, I just think that it's so powerful to be calling it out and to bring the name to light, right? Like you're also giving it voice and giving it a name and saying it out loud. And there is so much power in all of that. And the accountability, because we need to be accountable for how we treat other people in group settings and individual settings. And so anyway, that's all that was just kind of bubbling up in my brain while you guys are talking.
All I'm saying is we need that book. That book sounds like a blueprint.
Yes.
Something that we need to put in the hands of everyone, and possibly something that will be one of the continuing education, I'm sure, for a lot of the employers. I believe this book will make a impact and it'll change so much. I really think so. I can see it right now.
Thank you. That's actually continuing education is that's why I haven't quite finished the last couple of chapters of writing the book, because as I was meeting people, you know, I stopped and there's already a curriculum for that. So it's on its way to getting approved. And so yeah, I'm so honored that both of you, and you know, again, it's like anything, you know, I feel like I'm breaking the title of this. I feel like I'm apologetic for being like, thank you for taking
No, don't apologize.
But what you were saying, Amy, though, is so, I mean, I didn't even think about it in the context of a sexual assault. And I can't even imagine what you went through in high school. And, you know, I think that, you know, one of the things that we found is that the pain is probably, and I would get, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this, is the pain. There was people that were probably mean in high school, right? So you expected them to be kind of jerks when this came out, but then it was your biggest allies that might have been afraid to either be seen with you or be on your side because the jerks had their opinion. That's where mobbing lives, right? It's where one thing is people that isolate you can't change, but it's when the people who are complicit because of the fear, that's where it becomes the mob, right? And and that's really where the biggest pain happens. And I will say this, you know, is that I will say this unapologetically, we have all mobbed. Every single person. And so I very much, you know, because most of the time, because there hasn't been a name to it, people don't know that they're doing it. And that's why I'm a Christian woman too. I am trying to show a ton of grace. I don't name names. I don't name organizations or institutions, because I truly believe that at its core, without a name, it is, people just don't know that they're doing it. You know, rape is rape. Rape is bad. Like there's no delineation. Like there is bad, right? You know, but with the mobbing, because there's not this, you know, we have to bring light to it. And so I'm just curious, Amy, about your, you know, experience where did your allies kind of follow suit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I love a lot of what you said, and I agree.
Mhm.
I think we all have done it, right? And there was a name, but nobody knew what it was called. So like people
Right.
don't realize, and some cases are mild and some are pretty extreme.
Right.
And yes, I had experiences where I lost groups of friends. You know, they wouldn't talk to me anymore, or I just became labeled. I was labeled a whore. Right. And that's like how people viewed me.
Right.
And people I never even spoke to, you know, and
Yes.
it's like this mentality of like, well, clearly, or like she's dirty, or she's,
Oh,
you know, a problem.
Right.
And so, you know, when you're young and you've already experienced trauma, and now there's this other added layer of
Yes.
people are
Another
making
layer
up their minds about
about
you,
you.
or excluding you, or isolating you, or labeling you. You know, it becomes so, it's all you can feel. It's all you can see.
mhm.
And I've been there, you know,
Yeah.
and even maybe less of the mobbing mentality with the adults, because I feel like it was a select few, but
Mhm.
there were trusted adults who told me this. I wasn't the victim, he was. You know, they made up their mind as well, and so it just became this ongoing
Yes.
journey of feeling like, where do I even turn right now?
Yes.
And then you had the groups of people who did feel bad, and who would like come up to me and hug me, and I didn't even know who they were. And it wasn't as comforting though. You know,
Right.
it didn't feel good. It still
Yeah.
felt like there was this spotlight on this thing that I was trying to keep a secret.
Trying to keep a secret.
Yeah. And so it just became completely who I was. But yes, 100% losing of friends, having just strangers make up their mind about you, because
Mhm.
and we as society, this happens 24/7. Like, just look at the stories out there. Look at,
Right.
Right.
you hear one report, one story, one social media post about something,
Yeah.
and collectively we make a judgment.
Yes.
And
And you can read it in the
collectively,
comments. Oh my God.
oh
The
my
comments
gosh,
are-
it's like, and we don't even really know. We don't even really know what happened. We don't
Right.
really know what that person is going through. And that, I mean,
Mhm.
for me, I can't, I stay so much
yeah.
away from that, because it's so, I know how that feels, and on, you know, not a social media scale, but in life. And I just try to have grace and compassion for everyone.
Yeah.
I understand that we all have different views. I understand that we all have different walks of life, and that's okay. I don't have to agree with it. I
Right.
think that humans are humans. Everyone deserves grace. Everyone deserves
Yes.
healing. And we
Everyone.
don't know what everyone is going through. We just don't
No.
have the full picture. So
Right.
for us to make these group judgments about things is like wild to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
common.
why I'm glad you said that, because I too can relate to Amy. I went through this in my childhood. I was 6 years old when I was raped, and then was molested until I was 9. So even at church, parents would single out their children not to play with me because I would somehow taint their children. I was teaching Sunday school to children younger than me, just to bring more awareness if somebody touched you. So here it is. I'm 7 years old and I'm teaching children, if somebody touched you, to come tell me, even though adults knew about it. So I went through that, and it felt like I couldn't get away from that even into adulthood, because it's like one person says something and it carried on. So it seems like I could not get ahead of this. And then I got married and I have my children, and you still had this stigma. You still had this talk like, she's bad. She's been around. She's done this. She's been with boys. And you know what that started with? It started with the abuser saying this. All right, saying that I was out there with boys, saying all of this thing, and it seemed like it stayed with me, even though I was married. You know, women, or you would hear it. Oh, I don't want my husband around her because she's a husband snatch. I never snatch anybody's husband.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Oh yes, oh yes. And I got to a point where people wouldn't even. Then I went. What the worst of it was, 2016 to 2017. I went through what you call character defamation, because someone felt in themselves that, you know what, they wanted to run with this narrative that was out there from when I was a little girl, mind you. All right, and and it carried, and I was like, can't I get away from this thing? right? Can I get away from this thing? And I'm here and I'm speaking, and you have people looking at you. Here's what I heard. But I was a child. So it was not until I wrote my book in 2020, because I said, God, I have many books that you've given me to write, but I cannot write about faith and love and unforgiveness and all of these other things until I can tell my story.
Yeah.
So my story came out in a book called 𝘠𝘰𝘠𝘢𝑚𝑒𝑟𝑔𝑒𝑛𝑐E, I am she, meaning I emerge. And I took people through the journey of my childhood, all right, from the age of 4 until 18. I had people calling me. They couldn't get halfway through the book. And they realized they were all judging me for something I had no idea, nothing that I did. All right. I was always open, forgiving. Like I have great, I give everybody grace. I always feel like there's room for everyone. And because of that kindness, it was taken the wrong way. Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be loving, but you're judging it all the wrong way. So I went through this pretty much all of my childhood into my adult life. So that's why when I said I'm not apologizing for who I am today, I shout it, I preach it, I live it, right? The confidence I have today dealt with someone who had low self-esteem. I didn't love the skin that I was in. All right. I always wanted to hide. And now here it is. I feel like the Lord is forcing me, like, you need to do this. I call you to do this. And I was be saying to God, no, I think you chose the wrong person. And I said this for years. I don't think it's me. And now I stand for it. So when people see the confidence, they don't understand what it took to be where I am today. No, I am not apologizing because I was hiding. I was in shame. I was embarrassed for something that was done to me.
Right.
You see?
I hear that.
And it starts with, and it starts with what I call it a spark. There's something that puts it all in motion, right? So Amy, in your situation, someone was saying that your the rapist was the victim, not you, right? That was whatever. And in my daughter's case, there was a lie made up about something stupid, something that she didn't do, but it was, and then and I remember somebody asking her, because her whole group of friends and guys just dropped her, and one was out of town when this started. He comes back, and I'll never forget this. They were at a religious retreat. It was a Christian school, and they were partnered up together to interview each other. And he says, you know what? I'm going to put down these papers. I would like to ask you, why am I not allowed to talk to you? And she said, what do you mean? He goes, all I know is when I came back to school after my trip, I was told we don't talk to Anna anymore.
Wow.
And so he goes, like, what happened? And she goes, I don't know. What were you told? And you know what he said? He goes, I was told it was so bad. Just don't ask questions. Do what we say. So there's the spark. Most times the spark is a lie. And so, but to your point, Amy, that group dynamic, and there's so much power in that. And insecure people need to feel like they're part of that. And part of naming it is having somebody say, like, come on, man, like, that's kind of mobbing. Like, do we really want to do that? Because if we do it, then there's, and I've debated this with my husband. He believes, and I'm coming to his side of this, that naming it's not enough. There has to be consequences.
There has to be consequences. It's true.
Because this is really about school. This is going to happen in the world. It's going to always happen in the mom groups or whatever. But it should not. You should be able to go to work and it not happen.
Yeah.
Because I had a woman that
work, church, anything that you go to. Yeah.
Anything, but I'm saying where you're trying to make a living or get your degree or whether it be a high school or whatever, you should be able to do that in safe space. That's why you have school administrators and HR teams.
Yes. Well, let's just move on. Wow, we're just flowing here. So, all right, unapologetically, okay, unapologizing for that. So let's go to this question: what gift, dream, or personality trait, calling or part of your identity are you no longer dimming to make others comfortable?
I would say my voice. I think I went through life for a long time afraid to use my voice and afraid to voice, and not only just around my experiences, but in general, that confidence to speak up and that confidence be like, I have something to add here. I have something to say here, or I don't agree with this. And that is such a powerful part of who I am now, is using my voice, using it in many ways, voicing when I have opinions, voicing when I have something to add, something that's usually valuable to add, and using my voice to educate, bring education to organizations and universities and groups, to be a keynote speaker, and to just share my story. Because I find that when I share my story, others find hope and power, and they find community, right? We often go through these things feeling so alone and isolated. And when you sometimes all it takes is hearing somebody else talk about it and being like, okay, it's like, we know we're not alone, but we feel alone. And so using my voice to bring hope, strength, and healing. I mean, that I feel like that is my calling right now. That is where I'm at. That is the journey I am on. Sharing my book with others it's like a tangible journey. It's these keys that I offer. There's a reflective journal for the reader to really, my book is not only sharing my story, but it's for the reader to connect with their own and really walk with me through the keys and through their own healing journey. And so my voice and my power to help others feel less alone and give strength and healing. That is a part that I have out here. I'm never going to dim it again. And it took me a while to get here, but I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah. Getting your voice is that is key, to be able to voice, have opinion, and not apologize, or retaliate. Let's continue.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, I think it's just about, really speaking up and, and just, I always tell my kids and work, energy matches energy.
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean? And so, if somebody's just kind of being mean or whatever, it's okay to not merge with that. Cause I think the reactivity is our natural, or just to get, and I think it's just, like, gosh, that's not really nice. Just take that pause. And, there's lots of really smart, you can spend hours on TikTok and Instagram, and there's all these, psychologists and psychiatrists that say, just how to respond or whatever. But, it's hard to have the guts to do that and to find your voice to do that. And so, much like what Amy said, I mean, it's the book, it's the speaking, it's the consulting, and it's helping organizations figure it out and how to spot it. But, most of all is just being able to respond in a way that keeps my peace. And I think that's something that we can all learn from.
That's it. Speak your peace, speak your truth, and just be you. So let's go into what joy have you reclaimed that you refuse to let anyone suppress?
I mean, the joy and fulfillment for me, like the joy in living a fulfilled life and in a way that I feel is healthy and powerful. And what that looks like for me. And what that looks like for me is being on this podcast right now and going and having these conversations and putting myself out there and letting go of that fear of judgment. Because, when I first started out, like, okay, I have the book now and I'm going to post it on social media and I'm going to go on this podcast. I'm going to talk about it. Like that fear set in, I noticed.
Oh my God.
What will everyone think? Right? They're going to, attention seeker. And I just letting go of that and finding the joy and the fulfillment it brings me has been the most rewarding and powerful thing for me. People are going to make their judgments and that's okay.
Course, regardless,
right?
regardless.
And whatever, I am doing what fulfills me. And that brings me so much joy, and I won't feel guilty about that.
Yes.
for you. That's awesome.
Let me clap for that. I'm gonna
I
clap for
love
you.
that. I love that. I love that. So yeah, I think I love the word joy. It means a lot. I have a couple of girlfriends that we were just, one of them, her name is Missy, and we had a very close friend that was dying. And we were praying together, and Missy said her prayer was that our friend would just have some sort of joy in that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so to me, it's such a powerful word that we can all lean into. And so, the joy that I'm leaning into, similar to you, Amy, is really kind of embarking on this journey. I had started my own marketing firm, Brand Ethos, and I still have it. But for a while I lost confidence in the ability to really be an entrepreneur. And I didn't really think that I was, maybe I'm just not cut out for it, and, or, whatever. And now I've been invigorated, not only to kind of repurpose my skills, to Brand Ethos in a different way, but then also to really make the Kind Ethos movement and the Stop the Mobbing something. So, and that brings me joy. Exactly what you said. Talking to other smart women, I'm fueled by the energy that both of you bring, to what you're doing, and being able to connect. I mean, my day is going to be so much better because it started in this way. So
it's always good when you have positive conversations that not only you're able to release, you share in your heart, and you're being who you are without having to pretend, right? Because the whole thing is, and this is the motto for the podcast, is to heal for real. Right? Not just to say and speak and not take the next step, but do what it takes. If you need to have a massage, whatever it takes, whatever it takes for that day to be good, whether it's, you have to go out of your way to find a coffee that you needed, and you probably went from 3 different places, but you just had to get in the drive-through. One time I just wanted to have a mocha frappe, and that's usually the only thing that I can get from McDonald's, because no, Starbucks does not make a mocha frappe like McDonald's. And get in the drive-through for them to say the machine is down, to drive to 3 McDonald's, because I know I need to have my mocha frappe so my day could be good. And once I got it, that was so fulfilling. Hey, whatever it takes, okay, to make your day, that's what you need to do. You have to invest in yourself. Listen, you have to believe in you. If you want to sell you have to believe in you. You are the product. All
Absolutely.
right? You
Absolutely.
are the product. So if you want someone to invest in you, believe in you, call you to their women's conferences, I've traveled in the past 3 years because I built that confidence, and that is what exuded from me, So you are your brand, you are the product. So yes, get back on the front row. Says, yes, you're worthy to be an entrepreneur. You have what it takes. You have more than a lot of people, what they're sharing out there. You have more to give. So bring that confidence back. Be you and be unapologetic about it. It's totally that. Okay?
Absolutely.
We have to reclaim it. Don't suppress it. I think we spend years suppressing. You know why? It is because what will they think? Just like when you said you wrote the book, what will they think? I was that thing. Oh my God, people are going to say this. No. But once you get that power back, you say, you know what? Forget everybody. I got to get this done.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right. So let's go to the next question. What boundary do you now protect without guilt or apology?
Yeah. For me, I mean, I think that I could go again in so many different directions with this question, because I have a lot of boundaries now.
Yeah.
And I think it all is encompassing in protecting my peace. And that's important to me. And that can look like different things, right? Like a boundary around alcohol. Like I have a personal boundary around alcohol, because it was so impactful in my life, and I just am comfortable with what I'm comfortable with, and I'm not with what I'm not. And that doesn't mean, this actually took me a while to realize and accept that I can't make decisions for other people. I wish I could sometimes, but I can't. But I can protect my peace around it.
Yes.
And I will hold firm to that.
That's
And
it.
that's just what I do. Or boundaries with conversations that make me uncomfortable, right? Like
Yeah.
either shutting it down or challenging it or speaking up in a certain way.
Mhm.
And I bring those examples up because they seem like minor, but they're
Right.
like they really do make big differences from the
They
day to
do.
day in just protecting your peace.
That's it.
And so I think that's, the best way I can answer that question is just like the little different boundaries that you set to protect
Yes.
my peace is really something that I have come to terms with in a full sense, like through this journey, which has been great.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So I have to say, I'm not great at protecting my boundaries.
I'm just we need to work on that.
No, I'm not. I shouldn't say that. No, I mean, I think, but I think it's understanding who I am.
Right.
I love big, I love hard, I love my kids, I love my husband, and I think that boundary of when you have to have a little bit of self-care and and take the time is something that I do. And, but I would be lying if I said it's not something, that boundary that always has to be sharpened, right?
Oh, yeah.
It needs to be written in pencil and not with a Sharpie, right? So I think that's the boundary, which is 100%, Amy. It's about protecting your peace because, as my therapist says, if I'm not at 100%, I certainly don't have, my cup's not full to give to everyone else. And I think I like what you said about, conversations that you're just uncomfortable, being around. I'll definitely shy away from that. But I will say, now that I've said how horrible I am, no, I'm just kidding. But I will say that, where I am, I think I've done a great job of setting boundaries is socially who I'll spend time with. Right.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
That's a powerful one.
And that is definitely, the people that, I only have so much time in a day between work and family and my kids, my parents, my sibling, I don't get to see my siblings as much as I would like to. They don't all live close to me. So when I think about who I spend time with socially, it's got to be meaningful.
Definitely.
And I think that's a great boundary that not only women should learn, because a lot of times we will spend time in groups because we don't want to be left out. Right. And so, it's just really about finding, valuing my time and what it's worth. And I think that I think is something that we should all teach our children to do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Boundaries are necessary. The Bible tells us to guard our heart above everything. So we do have to protect it. Like you, I do love hard. When I love, I'm loving hard, right?
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I can't say I loved easy. My love isn't easy. So when you got my love, you have that. It's like a forever love, right?
Yeah.
But I'm very discerning when it comes to who I let in. I'm very discerning when it comes to even people who want to partner with me, right? Because I need to put that up because I'm letting you come into my space. I'm letting you come into my world. I'm letting you come into my thoughts. I'm sharing them with you. So I'm very mindful of that because of past experiences, right? So you have to have these boundaries. You have to protect them. My house, we have a rule, even my kids, and now I'm teaching my grandkids. I'm a mother of 6, right? My youngest is 19. I have 3 grandchildren right now, right? And that's the oldest one that I said that's here with me behind the scenes. And I teach boundaries that my mom didn't have for us when we were little. Like, if someone comes to the door, don't open up the door. Don't go outside. Don't let people come in just because you know them from church or because they're the neighbor, right? Those boundaries weren't there when I was growing up. And that's how come, the perpetrator came in, right? Because there was somebody that we knew. So as a result, I set that boundary for my children who were little. I said, even if it's me or your dad at the door, we have a key. We can open the door. That's just how much I stress not to let individuals in our home. And so my granddaughter, sometimes I might have a bag and have groceries, and I'm like, open the door, open the door. And it's like the big bad wolf, like, open up, huff and puff. And they're like, what you said, and so they have to go get, one of my sons to open it. But those are good. Those are safeguards, right?
Yeah.
Those are safeguards. Those are for protection. But at the same time, I have a few girlfriends that I hang out with socially. But these are people who I don't have to pretend.
Right.
Yeah.
I can be who I am. And I'm not wearing the pastor hat. I'm not wearing the counselor hat. I'm just being Linda. I'm just
Yeah.
being me, right?
Yes.
So if you have to decide, well, do I want to hang out with this person? If they're going to make me feel some kind of way, then don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
They don't have to be in your space. You don't have to invite them to your party. Listen, you have to protect yourself at all costs.
Yeah.
Right. And not just because, oh yeah, well, we work together. No, you invite who you want to invite.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
And don't apologize for that.
Yes. And I think sometimes people confuse, though, you can protect your peace and be kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not mean to that person at the same time. Right. And I think that's where, we've gotten, and that, I mean, again, my parents did a great job of saying, anything in extreme is bad.
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean? So, and so when you think about that, it's like, you know what? We don't have to be best friends, right? But I also don't have to, because I'm making such a statement to protect my peace, I'm going to be an asshole to you either.
Right.
So, pardon my French. Sorry about that. So,
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have one last question, and it goes like this. After everything you've survived, what does living boldly and unapologetically look like for you today?
So for me, it looks like moving beyond survival and overcoming trauma and pain and not letting it control my life anymore. It means taking the reins. It means steering my own ship, making my own choices, and finding the power and beauty in the strength and the growth that I've experienced. And then sharing it through my book, sharing it through my speaking opportunities, sharing it through these wonderful podcasts, and doing it boldly and unapologetically.
Beautiful.
Love that. Yeah, I think obviously, turning pain into purpose, right? I mean, that's ultimately, it looks like what both of us, all of us are really trying to do. I think we share that. And, and I think just unapologetically saying that, it might be uncomfortable to have conversations with people, to call somebody out for being mean or mobbing or those are tough conversations. And and so that's part of the work that I'm doing, is trying to teach people how to have a tough conversation, and you can do it respectfully and honestly and with kindness, right? And there's really to me that's the legacy that I'm desperately trying to leave.
Yes.
And I hope that people will get it. So
Indeed. So as we close out today, and we have individuals saying, well, ladies, you sound like you have it all together, but I'm not there yet. What would you say to that individual today who's watching?
My go-to for that is we have to focus on one small sustainable step, one small sustainable choice at a time. And it's like chipping away. You might feel stuck, you might feel lost, you might feel like you were there, but now you're back at the beginning. That's what healing is. It's a long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. Right. And when you feel like it's too big, it feels like you're chipping away at Mount Everest and you have this tiny little tool and you're like, well, this is never going to work. But I promise you, when you chip away just one choice at a time, one
Yes.
decision for yourself at a time,
Mm-hmm.
your path becomes clearer and you're
Yes.
able to go down it more easily. It just takes a little time. And I promise it's worth it.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, I definitely agree with everything that you said, Amy. But I would probably just start with anybody that thinks that everybody else has it together. Nobody
Yes.
has everything together. I can assure
True.
you. And I think just knowing that is, and social media is awful because, whether it's the angles or the filters or the this or the that and everything, but, nobody has everything together. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is kind all the time, right? Including me and including you guys. So, this, I just think that this whole concept of just, thinking that, just constantly looking at everybody else, just worry about yourself and worry about doing you and being kind and chipping away. Like you said, Amy, I think that's, somebody years ago, and I use this kind of when I've led my teams at work and my kids, is that, this is all a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, or I had a boss that was super smart. He was like, look, we can't keep this pace up. So we're going to take this year in 300-day increments. And then we're going to go hard. And then we're going to, you know what I mean? And so however you want to look at it, but it's just chipping away. You're never going to achieve perfection. But you can make a difference. It's never too late to get started or to improve yourself. And anybody that thinks at any age, right? Whether you are, my 13-year-old son or my, 89-year-old father, you can always learn and you can always get better and you can always do great things. So that's what I would say.
Indeed. These are great nuggets for someone that is watching. Now, we will have the description in the bio. So if you find Amy relatable, you'll be able to reach out to her. Again, she was also a previous guest on the podcast. So if you would like to find out more about her story, you can always just go into the sessions and you'll be able to see her beautiful face. And as she share her story here on Emerge and Empower, right? Again, this is the summer session of Unapologetically You. And we want you to have a nice, refreshing summer. We want you to heal. We want you to come into this part of the year and really understand where you are now and with the direction that you would like to be heading in. And if you had taken a detour, all right, to just get right back on that path to healing. It takes time. Healing is not overnight. All right. It is not overnight. And there are times when I have moments where I'm like, you know what, today I just don't want to be bothered. I just want to stay in my bed. I don't want to deal with anyone. I love people, but I love my me time as well. Right. Alicia, you said something and I said, we're not always nice all the time. I do everything in kind because number one, I'm a Christian, so I always have the politically correct way to say things or express myself to individuals. But I'm also in a season of my life that I call a buffer, right? When you go to get your nails done, they have to buffer it. They got to layer it before you could get those coats on. Hello, you see my nails? That's the first time I did this, but I had to go through it. Right? So I go through my buffer stage where I'm going to tell you it in constructive criticism. And it's only to build you, not to tear you down, right? And then after I done buff that down now, then I'm going to come in with those colors, okay, so that you can heal. So it might seem like I'm in my mean girl thing, but it's not mean. It's just constructive. And I just want you, because sometimes we have to have those words in some type of harshness to wake people up, right? So that's the stage that I'm in. And I'm not apologizing for that, by the way. My husband had to learn that. My husband of 33 years, we're going on 34. In the 33 years, I could have been divorced 3 times, right? And I was holding things in. He was a narcissist that threw the Bible at me, and I had to let him realize who he was one day. And I was crying because I told him the truth. Okay, so now I'm no longer that person today. Thank you, Jesus. And now I can have those conversations. And when he looks at me and I say, yeah, this is who you was. And I'm glad to see that the changes are coming. But I allowed it, Amy. I allowed him to become the man he was in those beginning, those first, 25 years. And I had to like pry that away. So we have a lot to do with what we allow people to do or become around us. So we need to adjust and be unapologetic, be nice, do it in a receiving way, can I say? Because sometimes the truth can come out really harsh, but we have to do it,
Yeah.
right? We have to do it. So I want to thank you, ladies, for being a part of the very first session of our Unapologetically summer sessions. And listen, Amy will be back. She was here before. And of course, we're going to have our one-on-one with Alicia. She might even be in the set because she's so close to me. I need someone to come sit in these beautiful pink chairs with me.
I would love to do that. I'm right down the street. Yes,
so we can flow in conversation, okay?
Yes,
so I just want to thank you, ladies, today for sharing parts of you with the world, with the public, and being unapologetic about it. So everyone, this has been Dr. Lynn J here with Emerge and Empower, and we can't wait to see you on our next episodes to come. So let's say bye-bye. This is where we ended at this time. Thank you for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You ladies have been a blessing on today, and I just can't wait to see how your life continue to unfold. And of course, I can't wait for this book. All right, we got to get this book because I believe it's something that I will be able to use myself, as I help individuals. Even when I do my Bible studies, I bring in real life. All right, what is in the culture, what is biblical, and bring those together so they get to know that we can exist, and be practical in our daily living.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you. This was
Thanks.
great.
Bye-bye.